Contesting the dunk.
Man, they got away with one here. Kawhi double dribbled in transition.
Yeah.
Brogdon was the only one that was on it.
Right there.
He went to the referee and told him right after. He's like, look, he double dribbled.
Yeah. He picks up the ball. I didn't see it in real time, and it's right after, right before the next.
That's the highlight. That's the reason why he's got a hurt leg. He's jumping off two legs now.
Warriors Blazers from Saturday. Draymond Green gets in transition, finds Jordan Bell for the dunk.
Great play here. Jordan Bell redeems himself after missing an easy one earlier. Draymond staying in with him. That was one of the themes in the second half that led to their comeback.
Most teams would be very lucky and very happy to have one passer as good as Draymond or Steph. The Warriors, of course, have two, and it's been part of how great they've been the last couple weeks.
More Warriors. Quinn Cook with a nice move at the point. Finishes with the lay-in. Oh, got left hanging, Steph.
Let me see. Well, listen. You get this. Is that Zach Collins? That is Zach Collins. I mean, just rockabye baby on him a little bit. Quinn Cook gets to the rim. You got no chance out there.
It's really nice. He brought the ball into his body like he was getting ready to shoot it, and then he moves his left hand and just puts him to sleep. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a nice little dribble move.
No one had an issue with Steph Curry getting left hanging with the high five? It stresses me out.
Steph can be a little corny on the bench.
When you go for the high five, you get left hanging. Sticking with the Warriors Blazers now, Steph Curry, as mentioned, has been the star since KD went down, but it was Draymond Green's triple-double, which allowed the Warriors to take down the Blazers in Game 3, 110-99 your final. 20 points, 13 boards, 12 assists for Draymond, his 7th career playoff triple-double, 3rd of this postseason, I believe all on the road, if I'm not mistaken. Series now all but over as the Warriors lead 3-0. All 3 games, mind you, without KD. Here's Steve Kerr after the win.
I don't even know what to say about Draymond. I mean, he was like a wrecking ball out there. He was just destroying everything in his path. The pace that he was generating was incredible, and it just seemed like he never got tired.
In terms of just his aggression on both ends of the floor, his decisiveness, like you said, there's not a lot of big guys that can stay in front of him full steam ahead in transition and push the defense on their heels. And then on top of that, he's making so many plays on the defensive end. So a lot's been said about his game as of late, and he's continued to take it up a notch.
When Kevin's not on the floor, I know I have to be more aggressive. And so whether that's attacking the basket, putting more pressure on defense, I understand that. And I think it's very easy to just try to get these guys to make more and more shots when Kevin's not on the floor. But, it can't put that much pressure on them. So I just try to take it up on myself to really push the pace, get the tempo to where we wanted, and then still, try to make plays for other guys as well.
Nick, this was not a lock for the Warriors by any stretch. They trailed by as many as 18 in this one. How are they able to win Game 3?
And it felt like the Blazers expected it and were waiting for it to happen in that 3rd quarter, and it felt like the crowd was as well. This was the biggest game that's been played in the Moda Center. It had been played by the Blazers franchise in nearly 20 years. You have a 14-point halftime lead, and they came out waiting for the other shoe to drop, and Golden State obliged. Draymond was unbelievable, and no one on the Blazers could match his intensity, his speed, his ferocity up and down the court. No one seemed even interested in matching it, much less duplicating it or beating it. The Warriors were amazing defensively in the second half. After allowing 37 in the second quarter, they allowed 33 total in the second half. And they just imposed their will. And unlike Game 2 in Oracle, when the Warriors hit them with an avalanche, the Blazers were able to punch back, and then they just melted away at the end of the game. The Blazers, it felt to me like they were resigned to their fate. Here comes the Warriors run. Draymond's running the fast break of point guard. Steph, Draymond pick and roll. What are we going to do? It was frustrating to watch if you were hoping that this series could be competitive at some point, because the Warriors are clearly better. Even without Kevin Durant, the Warriors are the heavy favorite. But to blow back-to-back big halftime leads in the exact same way and with your season on the line to show no resistance whatsoever, it was frustrating as a neutral observer. As a Blazers fan, I think you'd have been pulling your hair out.
The Warriors are a great basketball team. I didn't look at it the same way Nick did as far as Portland waiting for it. Golden State initiated. In the third quarter, they changed the pace of the game. And this is what Draymond Green is a great basketball player. And we should expect the team that still has 3 All-Stars, the team that has, and we got Isaiah Thomas coming later, a team that has the best backcourt in the history of the NBA, like, they're a great basketball team, even without Kevin Durant. So let's not forget that. Draymond Green took over, though, in the third quarter because sometimes the Warriors, they do struggle in their half-court offense. So what does he do? He initiates the offense before the defense can get set up. So he can either push the pace because he rebounds and he gets the ball. He doesn't need anyone to outlet to him. And what it does is it allows the other role players to get easier shots. And if they don't get easier shots, Bell in the highlights and other guys that Draymond was finding, then the secondary break, Steph and Clay, you lose them. So this is just another way that the Warriors through the years have operated their offense. They don't need to call a play. Draymond, get it off the board, push it down the court, try to make something happen, and then that secondary break, you got 2 of the best shooters all time coming up, and typically one of those guys will get lost. So they either get a good offensive look at it through the role players, through Draymond running the offense, or Steph and Clay after that.
There's a good chance they'll be without Iggy. I think he's questionable with a sore Achilles. Are you worried about depth for this team, at least with the starters, without Boogie, KD, Iggy?
For the NBA Finals, sure, but for the rest of this series, no. I mean, they could lose tonight, but it doesn't. The Blazers had multiple opportunities to make this a series, and their offense has gone to die. Like, it's one thing for the Warriors with Draymond pushing the pace like that to score 57 in the second half. That's going to happen. To score 33 yourself, 13 in the third quarter, which was as big of a quarter as you've played all season, to not be able to adjust. What the Warriors are doing defensively is not complex. They're trapping Dame out near half court, which can present an advantage for the Blazers offense. If he makes the play, they have a 4-on-3 at least temporarily, or a 3-on-2 depending on where people are on the court. He's not making the play, and when he does make the play, he's not giving it to a guy like Draymond Green, who is a point forward, who can then make the next play themselves. So, no, I'm not worried about the Warriors for this series. If Iggy were going to miss time in the finals, I'd be worried, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm worried about it, Jenna, because ultimately, how many starters can you lose? So they lost 3 starters. All right, you can only go to the bullpen so much. So for me, just like Damian Lillard, in game number 2, he's suffering right now from a torn rib cartilage.
Yep.
You know the reason why? He fell on the basketball. Kevon Looney fell right on top of him. But now you play another game. So every time, what I think he's missing here is every time you go out there, you got the opportunity to get hurt. Now we see the other series is at 2-1. Now they're shorthanded with Iguodala. They could be closing. If Iggy was healthy, I'd be like, man, they're going to close him out tonight. Like, it's a wrap. But now, how many more games? How many more extra minutes? What if Clay gets nicked? What if Steph gets nicked? Because now they have to guard the primary ball handlers. And Iguodala was taking that job away from them. And that's the hardest job to the Warriors defensively, to be able to guard Dame. And what Iggy does to him, he presents a lot of problems. So, yes, I am worried. They're down 2 starters. Now they're down the 3rd starter. Who else can afford to get nicked? It was something I said last week. Like, this is not only about this series, but it's about those minutes that every guy is going to play. Now, the finals, there's a set date. Right. So the Warriors want to be able to get this over with as soon as possible. I just think they have less chances of doing it tonight because Iguodala is their best perimeter defender.
Well, and maybe I am not taking Iggy's injury as seriously as you guys are. He had an MRI. It came back clean. I don't believe that if this were a game that the Warriors needed, I would assume Iguodala would play. We don't officially know if he's not going to play this evening. And the Blazers, to me, they have waved the white flag. They might win tonight, but and of course they can't suffer an injury to Steph or Clay, Chris. I agree with you on that. But if they had an opportunity to really put the pressure on Golden State, particularly if Andre Iguodala was not going to play. But what halftime lead do they need tonight to feel comfortable going into the third quarter?
So what if Portland gets the same lead they got in game number 2 and game number 3? And without Iggy on the court, Golden State could be like, you know something, man, we'll get to game number 5. So now you got to play in extra game. I just know the wear and tear on each person from an energy standpoint, from a mental standpoint. Yes, they're in control of the series, but they're also down 3 starters. And I just believe it's very, very important for us to continue that. If Andre Iguodala, he's one of the great pros that we have. If he can't play, it's because he's forced off the court. All right? A former MVP of the finals, you want him on. He's been their best defender, and he's the reason why Damian Lillard has had a very poor series.
All right, Boogie Cousins, Kevin Durant, now maybe Iggy. We will see. Coming up, speaking of KD, why is Durant upset with Steve Kerr? That's next on First Things First.